Am I alive? Please stand. Welcome everyone to today's scheduled council meeting for August 2026. I want to welcome people in the room, the public in the gallery and also those watching on the live stream. Welcome here today. Swan Hill Rural City Council acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet and pays its respects to their elders past and present. Councillor Thornton, could you please read the opening declaration?
We, the councillors of Swan Hill Rural City Council, declare that we will undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of our community and faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers and authorities and discretions vested in us to the best of our skill and judgment.
Thank you. Please be seated. All councillors are present, so we have no apologies today. Directors and officers present: Scott Barber, Chief Executive Officer; Leah Johnston, Director of Infrastructure; Dennis Hovenden, welcome, as the new Director of Development and Planning; Bruce Myers, Director of Community and Cultural Services; Stephen Fernando, Director of Corporate Services; and Sharon Lindsay, Executive Assistant. The minutes of the scheduled council meeting held on Tuesday the 21st of July 2026 have been circulated. Do I have a mover for the confirmation of those minutes? Moved Councillor Thornton, seconded Councillor Englefield. Thank you. All those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. Councillors, do we have any disclosures of conflict of interest today? No disclosures. Thank you. We have no joint letters or reading of petitions today, so I will ask if I could have a motion that standing orders be suspended for public question time and open forum. Moved Councillor Broad, seconded Councillor Rogers. All those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. So we will move on to public question time. We have four public questions that have been submitted today. Thank you to those people who have taken the time to send public questions to Council. The first question is from Judith Braun. Question is, when will Council release the draft Werrell Street traffic calming plans and designs for public consultation, ensuring this occurs prior to the final design, statutory approvals and works commencing? This timeline is critical given the June 16 Council minutes noted expectation that designs would be completed in 3 to 4 months before going to tender. I'll ask the Director of Infrastructure, Ms Johnston, to reply.
Thank you, Mayor. Through you, the Werrell Street project was identified through Council's broader road safety review undertaken in partnership with the TAC. Community feedback has also been received over a number of years regarding road safety, traffic behaviour and heavy vehicle use in Werrell Street. These factors contributed to the project being prioritised for further investigation and funding. The project remains under design and is currently being reviewed in consultation with relevant authorities, including the Department of Transport and Planning. The strong community interest in the project is acknowledged, and Council is committed to keeping the community informed as the design process progresses. Information regarding the proposed design will be made available to the community in the coming weeks to assist residents and stakeholders in understanding the project and its objectives.
Thank you, Ms Johnston. Question number 2 for today comes from Andrew Oxley. Why is there a contradiction in Council information which says agriculture machinery can continue to operate in Werrell Street while the reality of 2.9 metre and greater proposed traffic calming works will prevent the majority of agriculture implements in line with the legislative interpretation regarding Class 1 agricultural vehicle access, which may centre on conflict between lawful dimensions exemptions and physical infrastructure restriction? Again, Ms Johnston, I'll ask you for the response.
Thank you, Mayor. Through you, Werrell Street has historically been used by agricultural vehicles and the importance of agriculture to the Swan Hill municipality is recognised. It is also acknowledged that Swan Hill has expanded over time and that Werrell Street now functions as a residential street where community expectations regarding road safety needs to also be considered. As previously advised, the Werrell Street project remains under design. The purpose of the project is to improve safety within the residential street environment and respond to concerns raised regarding traffic behaviour and heavy vehicle use on Werrell Street. Previous advice indicated that concept designs include lane widths of approximately 2.9 metres through proposed traffic calming treatments, and that the majority of tractors could continue using the road at low speed. Concerns regarding the potential impact of the proposed treatments on wider agricultural machinery and implements are acknowledged and are also being considered as part of the design review process and discussions with the relevant road authorities. Any final design will need to balance road safety objectives with maintaining reasonable and lawful access for vehicles entitled to use the road network. It is also recognised that larger agricultural vehicles and combinations may already be subject to operational requirements under the applicable Class 1 Agricultural Vehicle Access Framework, including approved routes, permit requirements, pilot or escort vehicle requirements, travel conditions and other access controls depending on vehicle dimensions and configurations. These requirements are intended to support the safe movement of oversized agricultural machinery on the road network and operate independently of any proposed traffic calming measures within Werrell Street. Agricultural vehicle access is governed through the applicable Class 1 Agricultural Vehicle Framework and associated access conditions. While those arrangements provide for the operation of agricultural vehicles on approved roads, they do not necessarily require every road every road environment to be designed to accommodate the maximum dimensions of all agricultural machinery in every circumstance. Accordingly, the design process is considering both the operational needs of agricultural vehicles and the intended road safety outcomes for Werrell Street. For example, the traffic calming islands in the middle of the road are being designed with a mountable curb and with no signs on them. The proposed traffic calming islands are being designed so that appropriately sized agricultural vehicles travelling at low speed can negotiate the treatment while maintaining the intended road safety outcomes. As the design progresses, engagement with DTP or the Department of Transport and Planning and consideration of stakeholder feedback will continue to ensure the final outcome considers residential road safety, network function and the majority of agricultural access requirements. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms Johnson. Public question number 3 from John Manuel. I'd like to hear about the proposed ban of agricultural machinery from Werrell Street. I've lived in Werrell Street for 20 plus years. Excuse me. I'll start again. Public question from John Manuel. I'm writing to you about the proposed banning of agricultural machinery from Werrell Street. I've lived in Werrell Street for 20 plus years and have never encountered problems with agricultural machinery. Agricultural machinery move at a slow speed, 30 to 40 kilometres an hour, and they are not exceeding the speed limit. Width limitations are not justified as this is an agricultural district. I have a much better solution to slow traffic in Werrell Street. Drop the speed limit to 50 kilometres an hour past Yarna Street. Also implement the truck bypass on Backboga Road. You have already surveyed this. These two things will dramatically slow the traffic in Werrell Street. Swan Hill relies on agriculture for its prosperity. Please listen to the people you are affecting. Ms Johnson, again, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Through you. Council is not banning agricultural machinery from Werrell Street. The project arose from road safety concerns identified through Council's road safety review process and from community concerns regarding speeding and heavy vehicle use in Werrell Street, not due to the use of agricultural vehicles in Werrell Street. The proposed traffic calming measures are intended to reduce vehicle speeds and improve safety outcomes within the residential street environment. It is recognised that community members may have alternative suggestions for achieving these objectives, including changes to speed limits and alternative heavy vehicle routes. Such matters are considered during the planning and design process in conjunction with the relevant road authorities. The proposed design includes extending the existing 50 km/h speed zone along Werrell Street to approximately 100 metres west of the Backboga intersection, which will certainly assist in slowing traffic. In addition, Council is also currently designing the intersection of Dead Horse Road and the Backboga Road intersection to support trucks traversing this location and to again improve road safety in the area. These works form part of Council's broader approach to improving road safety and network function within the locality. More broadly, Council will be putting the designs on our Let's Talk page for information so that the broader community can understand the overall design. There has been a lot of feedback from the general community regarding this project, for and against. This has also included receiving a petition with 41 signatories received by Council at the July 2026 Council meeting, strongly supporting traffic calming measures to be implemented. It is not always possible to address all concerns raised, and a compromised design solution to address the majority of needs and to improve road safety is the desired outcome. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms Johnson, and also thank you for your assistance in the background, assisting councillors to respond to the many community inquiries on this matter, so that's much appreciated. Public question from Colin Russell. Regarding the VMFRP project at Naya and Vinifera, does council understand the lack of social licence the projects have due to poor public consultation, lack of transparency and the iron fist way that DECA and Mallee CMA have pushed this engineering water offset project onto this community? Is this, as well as the poor use of public money, a reason to make a stand against these two destructive projects? I'll ask the CEO to respond.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr Russell, for the question. Council has not adopted a position either in support of or in opposition to the works at Naya and Vinifera. Council's position is limited to the resolution adopted at the June ordinary council meeting, with no position taken beyond what is outlined in those minutes. Council's role has been to support the community by advocating for meaningful conversation or consultation and ensuring community concerns are communicated to the relevant authorities. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Barber. We will now move on to open forum, and I'll invite Dr. Jackie Kelly to the lectern today that we have, and welcome, Jackie. As you've been here before, so you know the rules and regulations, but you've got 3 minutes to address council. Thank you. I think it should be right to go.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and thanks for the opportunity to address Council at Open Forum. I would like to start by thanking Council for its advocacy so far on the issue of the VMFRP projects at Naya and Vinifera, and you know, our aim as a group, Friends of Naya Vinifera Park, and the community that has now joined with us, is to show that there are so many people who do object to these projects and want Council's help to advocate. Council knows how to advocate well. They're already advocating for many things, especially in the regards to the lead up to the state election. I'd like to just remind Council that this isn't good use of money, and it's not agreed to by the community. They don't have social licence, and in Council's submission to the Basin Plan Review, it did qualify its support for the VMFRP projects by saying that if those two things weren't met, then they wouldn't support the project. So I would like to just understand that more. The political answer we need is, and we need your help to get that, because this now has to be dealt with by the politicians. So the new Premier, the new Water Minister and the new Environment Minister, they all can have a say in this. And the Environment Minister is our upper house member, Jacqueline Symes. I'd like to thank Councillor Rogers for visiting the camp. It's day 87 now, I think, out there, and it's very quiet because the forest is totally wet and soggy and muddy because of the recent flood. And with the high river, it could become flooded again. So all the waterways are still full, the billabongs and creeks. So there's not a lot happening. There's also a lot of breeding of birds happening, and what will happen is that when the regent parrot starts to nest, they won't be able to work then either.
30 seconds.
There's a whole lot of reasons why this project is perverse and the wrong project for this place. Damien Cook calls it misnamed, and he says that it's an ecological disaster to justify an ecological catastrophe. My question to Council is, what has Council done to advocate for the community who are concerned, particularly following on from the 600 signatures? And what contribution does Council have any figures on what contribution Naya Vinifera Park makes to tourism, wellbeing, livability and the economy of our municipality?
Thank you, Ms Kelly. Thanks for coming in and presenting at open forum, and thank you for submitting your question in advance, because it's enabled us to prepare a response that we can give to you today. First up, I'll address the discussion around ministerial engagement and let you know that Council has made a significant number of requests to meet with various ministers, including the new Premier of Victoria. In fact, I was at a reception at Parliament House last week and spoke directly to Minister Settle, who is aware of our request for a meeting, but her advisor gave me no commitment to actually meet with us or have a meeting. So it's very difficult to get ministerial engagements, particularly in the lead up to the state election. In response to your questions that you've asked, you have previously made inquiry following the July meeting of Council about what Council has done in regards to the Nyah and Vinifera VMFRP projects. Council provided you a written response to your inquiry on the 27th of July, which outlined the following: that Council received a petition containing 360 signatures at the June Council meeting in regards to these projects. It was resolved that Council receive the petition and forward the petition to DECA, as DECA, that's the State Department of Environment, Energy and Climate Action, is the responsible authority for land management at the Nyah and Vinifera parks, not Council. The second part of the response we gave you was that the notice of motion to write to the relevant authorities for the Nyah Vinifera VMFRP projects requesting a community meeting was actioned. Following that, DECA advised Council that they were willing to participate in a targeted community roundtable discussion process. DECA have notified Council that this proposed discussion regarding the VMFRP projects is on hold, pending the outcome of legal and cultural heritage matters which are currently under consideration. In regards to your question regarding the contribution of Nyah Vinifera Park to tourism, etc., Council has no information in relation to this, as Council is not the land manager for Nyah Vinifera Park. DECA is the land manager, and hence Council does not manage bookings or monitor usage of the park for tourism or recreational purposes. I will reiterate, Nyah Vinifera Park is not Council land, nor is it land managed by Council. Nyah Vinifera Park is responsible the state authority DECA, and hence any decisions made about Nyah Vinifera Park are made by that responsible authority. Council has fulfilled all of its obligations thus far in relation to this matter, and the CEO is in regular contact with DECA on a variety of matters, not just Nyah Vinifera Park, but includes this one, that are relevant to our municipality, and they have committed to revisit a targeted stakeholder discussion, as requested, once legal and cultural heritage matters are resolved. So I trust that gives you a detailed response to your question, and again, thank you for presenting at open forum today.
I just wanted to have
Your time for open forum, Ms Kelly, is complete.
a point of order, because you
Excuse
actually
me,
have a
excuse
conflict of
me,
interest. So
excuse
you
me, Ms
shouldn't
Kelly.
be
Excuse
adjudicating
me,
while we ask a question on this issue, really,
excuse me.
Mr Mayor.
You, as a member of the public, don't get to call point of order on me. If fellow councillors would like to call point of order, that is completely fine. The rules, our governance rules around open forum, give members of the public an opportunity to speak and address council for 3 minutes. We've afforded you that opportunity today, and we have answered your question on the spot. And again, I thank you for providing that in advance so that we could provide you a response today, as opposed to having to respond to you after this meeting. I'll now ask you to resume your seat in the public gallery so that the meeting can proceed.
Nyah Vinifera Park is mentioned in many documents, including Swan Hill Link's
Ms Kelly,
plan, and you often pick photo winners.
yeah. Ms Kelly, could you please resume your seat in the
Well,
public
I would like
gallery?
the councillors to consider if it's should be a point of
I'm calling an
order.
adjournment to this meeting until Ms Kelly sits in the public gallery. Thank you. Could I have a motion, councillors, that standing orders be resumed? Move Councillor Inglefield, seconded Councillor Broad. Those in favour? That's carried. Thank you. We'll move on to section 2 of the agenda. Sorry. Office of Reports for decision. Agenda item 2.1, the draft industrial strategy. Thank you, Mr Hovenden and Ms Jeffries.
Thank you, Mr Mayor and councillors. And as you've highlighted, Ms Jeffries joins me for this particular report and the two subsequent planning matters. We've reached an interesting stage with the respect to the development of the draft industrial strategy, and whilst today we don't want to go into great detail with respect to the draft contents, the councillors have been previously briefed on where we are at with the strategy, and today we're seeking a resolution from council that would allow the community to now get engaged in the consultation stage. So we're working towards finalisation of that document and that can go out on community consultation. At a very high level, Mr Mayor and councillors, the strategy obviously is a snapshot of where we are at present, but more importantly, as a municipality moving forward, where we need to be to position ourselves with respect to our industrial land requirements. The draft strategy looks at both Robinvale and Swan Hill, and it's looking at setting the scene for the future direction. The aim to go out onto community consultation, as I said, is to seek feedback and input, and then once that input has been collated, we will come back to the council for a more detailed consideration and ultimately adoption of our blueprint for our industrial strategy moving forward, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Hovenden. Are there any questions, councillors, in regards to this matter? If there are no questions, and I do appreciate it has been through a couple of briefings and considerable discussion. So do I have a motion, councillors? Councillor McPhee? Thank you, Councillor McPhee. Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Broad, thank you. Councillor McPhee, do you wish to speak to the motion?
Yeah, just quickly, Mr Mayor. Look, this is actually, the fact there's not a lot of questions, as you say, it has been through a number of briefings already. We have had a look at it. But this is now for an opportunity for the public to have a look at it, for them to give us feedback as to if we're heading in the right direction. And it's pleasing, I think, this sort of thing to show that our economy is booming, that we need more industrial land. And that's what this is about, planning into the future to ensure we've got room for all new businesses and any developments that come into the future. So I think it's good these sort of processes in place, and it just shows you how we are advancing economically right throughout our municipality. Thanks, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor McPhee. Councillor Broad, do you wish to speak to the motion?
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Only really to reiterate that it's not an implementation of the strategy. It's about receiving some feedback from the community, making it open to consultation. Hopefully we're in the right direction. We've talked about it a lot. So if the community is listening, it's very important that we receive some feedback on this strategy so we know that we're going in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Broad. Does anybody wish to speak against the motion? Does anybody else wish to speak in favour of the motion? Councillor Rogers?
Yeah, I'll just say it's an important document, and we need more industrial land. We've got some great businesses in this town, and we can fix anything, build anything. We've only got to see what's been coming out of Swan Hill with Grizzly Engineering and Pumper Engineering, manufacturing, beautiful trucks they build down there. And yeah, we need to see our town grow and see our industry boom. So we need to facilitate and plan to allow that to happen.
Thank you, Councillor Rogers. Does anybody else wish to speak? If not, with no speakers against, I will put the motion. All those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you, councillors, and thank you, Mr Hovenden and Ms Jeffries, for your work on this. And as Councillor McPhee said, it's exciting and necessary to plan for the future, noting that we're well accustomed to rezoning taking a significant amount of time, so it's not something that can be implemented straight away. We'll move on to agenda item 2.2, a planning application for 127 Happy Valley Landing Road, Robinvale, subdivision of land, 2-lot dwelling excision in the farming zone. Ms Jeffries.
Thank you very much, Mr Mayor. Yes, this afternoon we are seeking a determination from Council on planning application PLN 2023 070, which, as you've just mentioned, is the subdivision of land into 2 lots to create a dwelling excision within the farming zone and environmental significance overlay and land subject to inundation overlay. To give you a quick summary, the subdivision proposes the creation of an allotment which would contain the existing dwelling, and that would be measured at just under 2 hectares, and the remainder of the property would create a separate lot measuring approximately 46 hectares. The officer's recommendation is to refuse the application based on the grounds contained within this report. However, we put it to council for a decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, councillors? Councillor McPhee?
If this was to go ahead, the remaining land, the 40-odd hectares, they have an as of right, apart from building permits, to build a house on that?
Yes, if it's in a declared irrigation district, which I believe it is, then yes, they do have an as of right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, I'll ask for a motion. Councillor Inglefield, I can see your hand twitching. If you'd like to
Yes.
move a motion.
Yeah, I have an alternative motion that I would like to move, Mr
Thank
Mayor,
you,
please,
and
and Sharon would put it on the screen.
That has been provided. Thank you.
The key points in that, there's a number of points in it, but the key points in that
Can you
are...
can you just read the motion, and then we'll see if you have a seconder, and then we'll move into debate.
Okay, well, the council resolves to issue a planning permit allowing the proposal in accordance with the following planning condition permits. The layout of the subdivision must not be altered from the
Just-
layout...
We'll just pause and
So can I just do a précis now?
thank you. Sorry, I thought it was a little easier than that.
No,
Um,
because there are some key significant points in this motion. that
Well,
go-
would you like, rather than all of them, would you like to point out the significant parts of the motion
Yes,
as
Mr.
part of your motion?
Mr Mayor, the key significant points are that if council, my alternative motion is that if council is of a view to approve, is that there be a section 173 agreement on both lots 1 and 2 to restrict any further housing lots, and that there also be a 173, in addition to the 173 on lot 1, that there be no further housing lots, that there is a recognition that it is in a farming zone, and that the amenity of a farming zone is that there will be agricultural activities possibly any time of the day or night.
So sorry, thanks Sharon, just stop there. So that's the section 173 agreement condition is on the screen.
Yep.
Is that the only significant condition we need to be aware
That's
of,
the only
councillor
one of
Inglefield?
any concern of, the rest is pretty...
The rest of other...
It's all just
stock-
straightforward.
Stock
Yep,
standard?
Stock standard, yep.
Okay. Do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor Jennings. Councillor Inglefield, you wish to speak to the motion?
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. If ever there was an example of a two-lot subdivision that should be approved in the rural zone, it's this one. The applicant operates a significant engineering workshop on a Happy Valley Road where he has invested multiple millions of dollars in providing services to the horticultural industry, probably in something like a 200k radius. You know, the applicant is in fact a son of a local prominent table grape grower, grew up in the Robinvale Irrigation District on a farm, and has, like some of us, has no interest in living in town. And so was looking to live and continue the lifestyle, he's outside of work hours, the lifestyle that he in fact enjoyed as a child. Now, I've been trying to think of it, but it's been at least 30 years, to my knowledge. I do stand to be corrected, but I'd say at least 30 years since there has been any low-density rural residential lots available for sale in Robinvale. I recall that Kokoda Court was probably the last one. The one prior to that was the ones that were done off Lock Road, and they were done in the late 80s. So if you don't want to live in town, and just as an aside, at the moment there are no vacant blocks of land to buy in Robinvale, even if you did want to live in town. But if you don't want to live in town, your only option is to in fact buy a rural property. Now, Matthew, the applicant, has absolutely no intention of ever farming this land. It's 46 odd hectares of land that's in a little pocket down there on Happy Valley Landing that 10 years ago, there's 3 other parcels of land down there that were basically just irrigated pastures. So now 200 odd acres of high value table grape properties. And most likely that's where this property would, if it was to be subdivided off, was what this property would be converted to. Matthew certainly is not going to do that. Matthew is not interested in farming. What we would be doing here is in fact setting this property free to be able to be developed into a high value horticultural property. And that would be in the best interests of the local Robinvale community. It would be in the best interests of the general rural city of Swan Hill in its gross agricultural output. So just from that point alone would be grounds to support this alternative motion. Now the report's presented as it is, and I have made mention of this before, and I won't go into great depths about it, but it's my old bandwagon of we're doing this to ourselves via the 2016 Rural Land Use Strategy. We're doing this to ourselves by our municipal planning strategy, by our planning policy framework, and it's not a reflection of the reality now in the old irrigation areas, where we need to be using every lever we can to try and where we do have significant agricultural activity in these smaller holdings, make them as viable as possible, and in the old irrigation areas around Swan Hill where we can bring them back to life. And the rules as they stand at the moment, which don't allow any flexibility and will produce an outcome similar to what was originally recommended here, is something that we very much need to change. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Inglefield. Councillor Jennings, do you wish to speak to the motion?
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Can't add too much more to what Councillor Inglefield has quite eloquently spelt out there for us, except to say that nothing has really changed in Robinvale from my perspective. There is no vacant land for, in the town there are no blocks, as we're well aware, as council being a developer there ourselves. And until such time as the rural land use strategy is changed to give a little bit more flexibility in what can be done out in these soldier settlement areas, I'm going to keep supporting these types of applications. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jennings. Do I have any speakers against the motion? Councillor McPhee.
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. Look, I take on board what Councillor Inglefield said, and I agree to him to a point. But I believe there's other ways of doing this. Like he talks about this 173. This council themselves, in the term we've been here, we have changed a 173 agreement and allowed someone to build land on it. So that's not going to protect the land into the future. There would be other ways of doing this, I believe, if the current owner, if this land is as good as it says, there could be boundary realignments with the neighbouring person buying the stuff, and you get a better result than this. We are going to end up with a battle axe block off Happy Valley Road, which is not an ideal situation for anyone, whether it's residential or whether it's farming. In our plans, they also talk about battle axe blocks. They are not ideal and should be avoided where possible. We are creating another battle axe block, which in itself will create problems. Like I said, there was other ways around this problem. I understand there's no land in Robinvale, but that's as a council, that's what we've got to keep doing, is pushing and amending those plans so we can get more development. Even in Swan Hill, many years ago, there was no land available in Swan Hill. Council themselves had to put their hand up and develop Tower Hill. That's how development in Swan Hill went ahead. The council themselves did it. We need to do something, not along them lines, but do something to fix the plans in relation to Robinvale. Not just do this in an ad hoc way, because we're going to end up with all these little blocks cut off and isolated right throughout our farming district. That is not good planning. If we want good planning, let's look at it and actually plan properly and get these low-density residential blocks allocated in the appropriate manner. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor McPhee. Do we have any other speakers in favour of the motion? Councillor Rogers.
Yes, I'd just like to strongly support Councillor Englefield and Councillor Jennings in what they've said, and I'd like to respect what Councillor McPhee has also said. I believe there are protections that Councillor Engelfield's got in his motion that give council protection down the track, and I reinforce that our outdated rules need revising as soon as possible, and council has my full support to take whatever measures necessary at all costs and expedite the planning revision as soon as possible to get our municipality on the go and make it easy for our planning department, not make it hard for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rogers. Any other speakers against the motion? Anybody else wish to speak in favour of the motion? Councillor Englefield, I'll give you the right of reply.
Thank you.
2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. In relation to the 173 agreements, it's actually a feature of the fact that they can in fact be removed by some council in the future. It would be an extraordinary thing if we were able to bind the hands of a council 50 years in the future by something that we decided to do today. So it's in fact an imperative of good planning that things like 173 agreements can in fact be removed, because it may be in 50 years' time it is appropriate that they are removed. So that's actually a feature of those particular types of agreements. And it also needs to be pointed out that they can't be removed without the council approval. I've seen this in respect to boundary realignments. I've seen numerous examples, previous examples of boundary realignments being rejected on exactly the same grounds, for exactly the same reasons, because our rural land use strategy document doesn't encourage those types of things either. And, you know, more land. You know, I don't know how long you have to wait. 30 years is a long time. There's been, for low density, from the last low density rural residential block that was sold in Romvale, we have some stuff before the planning department at the moment, but, you know, in this chamber it was said, oh, well, Romvale's landlocked, so
30 seconds.
Bad luck. That was effectively the answer. And that's not an answer. So people will do what they need to do given the circumstances that they're given. And as I say, this is what people are doing. Their only option to live outside of, well, to live in Romvale is to buy anything that's actually got a house on it, because you can't do anything else. So I would just hope that we can see the sense in doing this.
Thank you, Councillor Englefield. Motion's been put, the debate's been had. We'll now vote. All those in favour of the motion? All those against? Motion is carried. We'll move on to agenda item 2.3, planning application 241 Murray Valley Highway, Swan Hill, use and development of the land for materials recycling. Ms Jeffries.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Again, we are seeking a determination on planning application PLN 2052032 at 241 Murray Valley Highway, which is an application to use and develop land for materials recycling, that being concrete crushing and recycling, within the farming zone, environmental significance overlay, land subject to inundation overlay. It is also seeking alteration to an access to a road within Transport Zone 2 and a reduction in the car parking requirements. 13 objections were received to this application at the time that it was publicly advertised. The objections generally raise concerns around amenity impacts. The officer's recommendation is to refuse the application based on the grounds contained within the report, which of course requires a decision of the council. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Ms Jeffries. Are there any questions, councillors? Again, we've been briefed on this, and we've had the objectors meeting, so I understand if there's no questions. If there's no questions, do I have a motion? Councillor Jennings.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I'd like to move a procedural motion, please.
What's your procedural motion, Councillor Jennings?
My procedural motion is that debate on this matter be deferred until the October scheduled council meeting of council to allow a report to be presented to council outlining the options for the applicant to undertake their concrete recycling activities at the Swan Hill landfill.
Thank you, councillor Jennings. I can accept that deferral motion as it complies with governance rules. Seconder, councillor Rogers, you'd like to second the motion. In this instance, by our governance rules, a debate is allowed on this procedural motion. It's not allowed on a lot of procedural motions, but is allowed on this type of, on a deferral procedural motion. So, councillor Jennings, if you wish to speak to the motion, you may speak to the deferral, the procedural deferral motion. We're not talking about the actual recommendation in the report here, just to be clear.
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. So my reason for wanting this to be delayed is that I don't believe this is an appropriate location for this activity. We've just seen our industrial land use strategy report being presented to us, and in that that's going out to community consultation highlights that Murray Valley Highway will in fact be one of the next industrial development areas. So I see no point in having this type of development there in the short term, and the applicant's strong, my very strong belief is that this activity should take place out in the dirty areas of the landfill, and I'd like to see us explore what is required for that to take place. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Jennings. Councillor Rogers, do you wish to speak to the motion?
Thanks, Mr Mayor. I see it as a very common sense and good planning, just to get our facts right and get the next report in. Fully support councillor Jennings, and yeah, I also agree recycling and waste go together, and it's common sense 100% that we explore this further and hear the report in a month's time. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Rogers. Do I have any speakers against the motion? Councillor McPhee.
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. Yeah, look, I understand where the councillors are coming from in relation to this, but this is a planning application for a position in relation to this business operating in this area. That's what we need to decide now. What you're asking for is what the officers will do anyway. If we agree to knock this planning application back, officers will work with the applicant or with any business in town and find the appropriate place to put them. We can't open up the tip. We've had some discussion around this in relation to briefings, and there is issues in relation to offering it to one person. That's not the proper way and the procedural way we should be doing it. So that may not be the whole answer. There may be other areas. You're looking at just sending it out to the possibility of the tip. There may be many other areas to go. As Councillor Jennings said himself, this is not the area for this business. That's the question we've got to ask ourselves with this report now. Where it goes after that, that's for a future discussion and for future council meeting, not for this planning application. We've got to let the applicant know this is not the place, so then he can also start looking at other places himself. He may not want to go out to the tip. He may want to go somewhere else. So we should be limiting where he wants to go himself. Let's deal with this planning application as it is. I believe this is not the appropriate, and Councillor Jennings himself said this is not the appropriate location where it is for this application. Let's knock this planning application back and work with the applicant into the future. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, councillor McPhee. Do I have any other speakers in favour of the motion? Councillor Englefield.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I speak in favour of it with some caution. I speak in favour of it because I see the sense in it that if there isn't an opportunity to have it elsewhere, that maybe we could explore that in the short term. But I also see that may not necessarily, that there is a possibility that won't become an outcome, and we will be back here looking at this application again. And these types of applications are very much NIMBY applications. I don't think it'll matter where you want to put it. There will be people object. If you read the objectors, all the notices from the objectors, you know, it's anywhere but here, and some of them are suggesting 20 miles out would be a good spot. But if you happen to live 20 miles out, you mightn't think it's such a good spot. So it's an issue we will have to deal with, but I support it in principle because we should explore it as an opportunity before any funds of any significant amount are expended. But we should explore it with the understanding that it may not be that outcome may not be achievable, but we should explore it.
Thank you, Councillor Englefield. Any other speakers against the motion? Does anybody else wish to speak in favour of the motion? If not, Councillor Jennings, you have 2 minutes right of reply.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Just to add that I don't think that this is the applicant's preferred option. I think that he feels that this is he's been left with because he's of the understanding that the landfill site would be a difficult proposition. He already has a permit to do concrete crushing at the end of Jennings Road, which is in this actual vicinity, but I don't believe that that's an appropriate location either. It's actually closer to schools than residential. So he has the capacity or approval to do the concrete crushing there. So I did weigh up whether one of the approaches would be to just refuse this and then explore ask the officers to explore the opportunity of what we need to do for the landfill site, but settled on this approach. But I can see merit in both ways, but I just don't believe that this is an appropriate area for it to take place, nor is Jennings Road for that matter.
Thank you, Councillor Jennings. All right, time to vote. All those in favour of the motion? Those against? Motion is carried. Agenda item 2.4, governance report, council policy update. Mr. Fernando.
These are routine reviews of these policies. In the list, we have one policy that we have decided is really no longer needed because it's covered in other documentation set by the state government. So we are proposing to discontinue that policy. We have reviewed the gifts, benefits and hospitality policy and adjusted it as required. And the information security policy has been renamed as a cyber security policy and updated to meet the current day requirements, which has changed significantly. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Fernando. Are there any questions, councillors? There's no questions. Could I have a motion? Councillor McPhee.
As per the recommendation, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor McPhee. Seconder for the motion, Councillor Broad. Councillor McPhee, you wish to speak to the motion?
Yeah, just quickly, Mr Mayor. Look, council do have a number of policies, and it's pleasing to see that we do get rid of them when we don't need them. It's appropriate that the citizenship ceremony dress policy, as Mr Fernando said, it's covered in other areas, and you find most people that come to those events are very pleased to become Australian citizens and make a great effort to dress up in their traditional costumes and that, which is great to see. And as to the other policies, there are only minor changes to them, so it's just a procedural process. Thanks, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor McPhee. Councillor Broad, you wish to speak to the motion?
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Only really to say that it's normal policy maintenance, it's good practice, and it's also good to see that we're removing duplicates or things that are covered in other policies. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Broad. Are there any speakers against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. We'll move on to agenda item 2.5. Rural Councils of Victoria invest in rural Victoria state election advocacy campaign. Again, Mr Fernando.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, we are part of Rural Councils Victoria, and this is they have come up with this advocacy campaign for the upcoming state elections. it should be noted that it is not in contradiction to the campaign and the priorities that we have adopted. This is a more overarching umbrella campaign that allows us to provide the specifics that we need as part of that campaign. That's why we are recommending that we do participate in that. As you are aware, we are having the Rural Councils Victoria conference in Swan Hill in September, and it would be good to showcase what we have done as part of this campaign when that takes place. We are proposing 10 locations to have these billboards on, and as you will notice that all those 10 locations relate to, all are linked to the advocacy priorities that we have adopted.
Thank you, Mr Fernando. Are there any questions, councillors? If there's no questions, could I have a motion, please? Councillor Jennings, seconded. Councillor McPhee, thank you. Councillor Jennings, you wish to speak to the motion?
Only to say, Mr Mayor, that we do have an advocacy document, and these are the things that we've decided on are the most important things to our community. So given an election coming up, we will be advocating for these prior to that and into the future, hopefully to get some results for our community.
Thank you, Councillor Jennings. Councillor McPhee?
Yeah, well, thanks, Mr Mayor. As Mr Fernando said, this isn't against any of our current advocacy processes in place with our council. This is aligning ourselves both to all other rural councils in relation to these issues about infrastructure, safer roads right throughout our entire country, Victoria, and it also aligns with the our peak body, the MAV, who also are pushing statewide for the similar sort of things about infrastructure, housing, also the same things. I think it's important that we all sing from the same songbook, and it's appropriate, as Mr Fernando said, with us hosting the Rural Councils Victoria meeting this in September. It's appropriate that we do have the signs up to show that all the other councils, we are in support of what they're after as well. And as the 10 advocacy process has said, it's, you look at the main first two are Swan Hill Bridge, which is a big advocacy program for us, and also safer roads right throughout our municipality. Without naming roads, we're talking state government roads to ensure that they fix their roads. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McPhee. Are there any speakers against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? The motion is carried, and as Councillor McPhee highlighted, this is how we operate with other councils right around the state, where there's common issues. It doesn't take away from our own issues, but where there's common advocacy issues, we work in conjunction with the other councils around the state to make sure that regional and rural Victoria in particular can be better off after the upcoming state election. Section 3 of the agenda, officer reports for noting. 3.1, major projects progress update as at the end of June 2026. Just to clarify, this is as at 30 June 2026. Ms Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. So through you, I'm really pleased to be able to present the major projects update until the end of the financial year, as the Mayor said, which is June 2026. To start with, it's a great opportunity to mention and recap some of the highlights for the 25-26 financial year of works that we have actually completed. We've delivered more than 30 completed projects across the municipality, which is approximately correlates to $24.3 million in capital works that have been delivered. So some of those major projects has been the Swan Hill Art Gallery redevelopment, the Swan Hill Tourism and Cultural Hub, the 10 Steps renewal, which I'm sure everyone's glad to see completed. Quambatook Road, reconstruction of stage 1, and obviously we've said this is June 2026, stage 2 and stage 3 well underway. Glover Road, widening and rehabilitation. Haysdale-Coolanong Road, widening and rehabilitation. The Naya Community Centre renewal and the Tower Hill stage 15 open space. It's also worth highlighting in terms of our bitumen resealing program, we've delivered 165,000 or slightly more than 165,000 square metres of reseal, which ensures that we're maintaining our sealed road network. Our unsealed road resheeting, we've done 81,000 square metres. And in asphalt patching, over 3,500 square metres. Some projects that are underway at the end of June is the Robinvale Workers Accommodation, which is obviously now complete, but as I said, this is till the end of June. The Quambatook Road Reconstruction Stage 2, again, at the end of June it was still underway, but it's now complete. Everyone's very familiar with the Carini Street reconstruction work that's well underway and progressing really well and in accordance with the on time and on budget. Riverside Park mooring platform, there has been some frustration there as I looked at Councillor Rogers in terms of it. We're still progressing through the permit stage there and I can say we have been making a lot of contact with the Murray River Council and I do believe that is imminent in terms of within the next few days. So great progress has finally been made there. And the Pental Island pedestrian bridge is also progressing through the permits stages. Several officers of council have recently met with DECA and we believe we've got that back on track as well in terms of getting that relevant permit through. So council, a full list of the projects is provided in the attachments of your report for your information, but please note the report and progress made of projects as reported is the recommendation. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Ms Johnson. Are there any questions, councillors, in relation to the major projects report? No questions. Could I have a motion, please? Councillor McPhee. Thank you. Seconder, Councillor Rogers. Thank you. Do you wish to speak, Councillor McPhee?
Yeah, look, I'm not going to go over all the projects that Ms Johnson has just highlighted, but they're the big stuff. But it looks pleasing to see these great projects right throughout our municipality, even in smaller towns like Nyah, or Menang, beg your pardon, the Menang footpath from the CBD to the P12 school, Warraneen South, Palmer Street footpath. These may only sound small projects to the wider community, but to these small communities, they are big wins. They are happy to receive that, and it's ensured that we do spend the money right throughout our municipality and get some of these projects done in the smaller towns as well. And I'd just like to, if Ms Johnson could pass on to our project management team, since they've been implemented, the amount of work that has gone through the project management in that time has been great. They've kept it on most times, on time and on budget, which is a lot better than it has in the past. We have improved in that area greatly, and by all means pass that on to your team. They need a pat on the back for the work that they do. Thank you, Ms Johnson.
Thank you, Councillor McPhee. Councillor Rogers, do you wish to speak to the motion?
Yes, I'd like to reinforce what Councillor McPhee said and congratulate the staff for some fantastic outcomes out there right across our municipality. It's also been a long passion of mine to upgrade that Quambatook Road, which has been damn well dangerous. I reckon I'm up to done 10 windscreens out that road with the rocks and that, so can't see that advance quicker. That's fantastic. It's also, if there's a major accident on our highway, one lot can go down southbound traffic can go down one way around Benjarup, the other way can come back the other way. So, quicker we get that done, the better. Also, very encouraging and pleasing to hear that the pontoons may be on the go shortly, because it would be great to make sure that our Riverside Park, our Premier Park, is open for business in the festive season, and people can enjoy that and have a good time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rogers. I guess it'll depend on how much rain we get in the coming weeks, Councillor Rogers, whether that will be possible or not. Any speakers against the motion, or does anybody else wish to speak in favour of the motion? No, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? That is carried. Thank you. We'll move on to 3.2 now, the planning quarterly report. Also for the same quarter, noting that this is the end, as at the end of June 2026. Mr Hopperton.
Thank you, Mayor and councillors. And whilst I note, as you've indicated, Mayor, that the report is for noting, I would like to just highlight a couple of things out of the report. Namely, we continue as a department to maintain the high percentage of processing applications within time. This last quarter has produced an economic benefit through the planning application process of 61 million. Importantly for Council's budget, the activity has generated just under $46,000 in planning fees. Pleasingly, consultation relating to pre, during and post process in the planning applications remains as a key priority of all staff within the planning department. And even more pleasingly, Mayor and councillors, that there does not seem to be a significant drop-off of planning applications when you consider we are now working through 49 active planning applications addressing a wide variety of development throughout the municipality, and we're also addressing subdivisions as well as a part of the process. So it's all in all adds up to, I think, very pleasing results for the council, and I commend the recommendation to the councillors, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Hobbin. Are there any questions about the report, councillors? No questions. Could somebody move a motion in regards to it? Thank you. Councillor Thornton, thank you. Do I have a seconder for the motion? Councillor Englefield. Councillor Thornton, you wish to speak to the motion?
No, but thank you very much for the detailed report, Mr Hoverton, and also noting, the pleasing results for the quarter and ongoing activity around the region. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thornton. Councillor Englefield, do you wish to speak to the motion?
Only just to say that it's pleasing to see that we're getting through the vast majority of the planning permit applications on within the statutory time limits, and that's if there's any measure of a good operating environment, that's got to be one.
Thank you, Councillor Englefield. Any speakers against the motion, or does anybody else wish to speak in favour of the motion? If not, I'll put it. All those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. Section 4 of the agenda, sign and seal. Mr CEO.
Thank you, Mayor. The following documents and agreements have been signed and sealed by the councillors and the Chief Executive Officer on the respective dates. Those actions require ratification of council. I ask you consider it as recommended.
Thank you. Any questions, councillors? Have a motion?
As per recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Englefield. Second of the motion, Councillor Broad. Councillor Englefield, wish to speak?
No, thank you.
No, nothing? All those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. 4.2, councillor briefings, record of attendance and agenda. Mr CEO.
Thank you, Mayor. The following report provides attendance details of councillor briefings on a monthly basis. I ask that councillors have a look and either let us know of any errors or omissions, or as per recommended, please, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Barber. Any corrections to be made, councillors? If not, could I have somebody to move the motion, please? Move Councillor Rogers, seconded. Councillor Broad. Anything to say? No. All those in favour of the motion? Motion is carried. We have no notices of motion. Do we have any foreshadowed items, councillors? No foreshadowed items. Do we have any? No urgent items have been raised that we need to deal with today, so we will move to consider and order on councillor reports, section 8. And as previously advised, Councillor Jennings and myself will provide a verbal report of the ALGA, Australian Local Government Association Conference, the National General Assembly in Canberra, which was held at the end of June, and a written version will be included with the minutes of this meeting. So I'll hand over to Councillor Jennings to kick it off, if you could, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. As the Mayor said, we attended the 2026 National General Assembly of Local Government in Canberra. The theme this year was Stronger Together, Resilient, Productive and United. And I guess from my perspective, as per the previous year, one of the strong things for me was the highlights was the first day of the conference, in which all regional and rural councils get together as a group and discuss and have some presentations. After that, we come together as all of the councils across the country, the metro and larger ones as well. So things that are probably no great surprise. We're all feeling the same sorts of pressures and under the same influences. So 16 pages is the report. There's a fair bit in that, so I would encourage you to take the opportunity to read it, because we've gone to a fair bit of trouble to give you some context of and some feedback on what happened at the conference itself. But just to highlight a few things, what we've tried to do is bring this to what it means for Swan Hill messaging. So the main things out of the conference itself was the key messages were financial sustainability remains the sector's central issue, housing policy shifting towards enabling infrastructure and direct council partnerships, a position that we're already involved in. Infrastructure renewal was a national productivity issue, not simply a council maintenance issue. And there was a lot of conversations with that for renewal about bettering and not just replacing like for like, particularly in the instance of disaster recovery, where lots of councils were saying, well, we don't just want it put back again, take the opportunity to fix it and make it better for into the future. Regional growth will follow places that combine jobs, housing, services, connectivity and amenity, which we discuss fairly frequently. And what that particularly means for Swan Hill is using Swan Hill's livability, sport, health, education, airport connectivity, employment strengths as one integrated population and workforce attraction story. So how do we sell ourselves as a destination, and why would people come here rather than go somewhere else? So we see those as our strengths. Disaster recovery, we don't have too many issues there, fortunately, but there is plenty of them that have flooding, and that also have, and not too far away with Gannawarra, particularly in the not too distant past, but bushfires and the like was quite high on the agenda. Skills shortages, constraining local government and regional development, we know about. Direct federal engagement matters. So for us, maintaining the relationship strengthened in Canberra, which the Mayor will speak to, his engagement with a variety of ministers over the time. So if I skip through to, there's quite a number of headings there and information that's provided within that. But perhaps to go towards the end of the document, and just to bring to your attention the section that says what the conference means for Swan Hill. Across the conference, several seemingly separate topics converged into one strategic proposition. Regional livability is infrastructure, housing, roads, sport, health, education, digital connectivity, water security and community facilities are not discretionary extras. Together they determine whether a regional community can attract people, support business, manage growth and withstand shocks. So again, the messaging and there are explanations for what it means for Swan Hill for you to read through, but the key messaging for us was sporting hub, youth, families and children's hub, housing growth, roads and freight, asset renewal, renewable energy, water and workforce. In addition to that, disaster resilience and federal relationships. So in addition to that, the recommended council follow-up actions, and I'll just give you the headings of these. Follow up with the Minister McBain engagement, build a shovel-ready housing pack, convert asset data into advocacy narratives, strengthen the roads evidence base, refresh council's population and workforce story, establish principles for energy projects, continue disaster funding advocacy, maintain a basin advocacy brief, support the National Financial Sustainability Campaign and to track federal policy opportunities. So the reflections from the Mayor and myself with regard to this was the conference was valuable because it combined national policy discussion with practical examples from councils and regional leaders. The strongest sessions were those that translated national trends into decisions local governments can make, the demographic outlook, asset management, regional energy transition, roads and productivity, disaster resilience, and the direct ministerial engagement. The delegate notes candid about sessions that were less useful or overly promotional. That's an important observation. The value of attending national conferences is not measured by the number of presentations attended, but the quality of information gathered. relationships strengthened and actions that follow. In this case, the direct advocacy opportunities and several evidence-rich sessions provided clear value for Swan Hill. A further theme was the difference in perspective between metropolitan and regional councils, which is something we spoke of last year as well. Regional communities often carry larger infrastructure network per resident, have thinner markets for labour and housing, and are more exposed to drought, flood, freight and agricultural cycles. National policy is therefore most effective when it allows place-based implementation rather than assuming one metropolitan model will suit every community. The council delegation should continue to use NGA and ALG, well that may be taken out of our hands if we have a new government, to selectively focus on priority ministerial meetings, evidence that can strengthen Swan Hill's business cases and sessions that help council anticipate future policy and demographic change. So I haven't touched on the very strong theme of the returning funding to 1% of GDP. I'll leave that to the Mayor to add his comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jennings. And yes, I'll start with that. And there was a special motion passed at the conference in regards to financial sustainability grants, financial assistance grants, being restored to 1% of federal tax revenue. We've seen since that time it has made discussion at conferences of the major political parties, so it's good. It sounds like the message is getting through. Local government is not sustainable without additional funding. It's as simple as that. Before I touch on ministerial engagement and advocacy, as Councillor Jennings has said, one of the key themes, particularly in relation to advocacy as well, is that our advocacy programs, our strategic direction of this council aligns very closely with federal strategic objectives, which is always a good thing when you're going for funding. So the lesson was simple: to be ready. Government programs increasingly reward projects that are well scoped, shovel ready, supported by credible evidence and clearly connected to housing, productivity, resilience and livability outcomes. So again, the key message for our future advocacy: be prepared, be evidence-based, make the connection to the national agenda clear, and to keep following up. And so on. It's a good segue into ministerial engagement. Councillor Jennings and I had the opportunity for one-on-one conversation after the Australian Council of Local Government with Minister McBain, who is the Minister for Regional Development, amongst other titles, including emergency management. So fairly significant portfolio and relevant to rural and regional Victoria. So again, we're able to put our advocacy pack, our advocacy video directly into her hands and receive some fairly positive feedback from her advisor the next day. But also it gives an opportunity to talk about that we're still awaiting announcements on the RPPP funding, Regional Precincts and Partnerships funding, which relates in particular to a funding application for the Swan Hill Sporting Hub, which at the time she said it was imminent. We're now nearly 2 months later, so imminent I don't think has a clear definition in political terms, but that's okay. At least we were able to raise it and to plead our case yet again. Other ministerial engagements, I spent time with the advisor for Minister Watt with Murray River Group of Councils, obviously talking about our basin plan submission, which is obviously still in the hands of the Murray-Darling Basin Association, but it was certainly acknowledged by the Minister's advisor that the social impacts of the Murray-Darling Basin Plan review were ignored. And that came through as well. We did have a session with Andrew McConville and other representatives of the Murray-Darling Basin Association. And again, the feedback was pretty clear that was the missing chapter, and I don't quite know how they missed it, but they said they missed it, and they've apologised. But there are no outcomes from that process yet. There's further roundtables coming up, but at this stage there's no clear outcome from the Murray-Darling Basin Plan review. We also met with the Commonwealth Environmental Water Holder and highlighted various things from across, we met as Murray River Group of Councils, but particularly highlighted opportunities for the Commonwealth Environmental Water Holder to top up natural floods with environmental water, so that those natural floods can reach further into forests, into wetlands. So that's a view that we expressed, and the opportunity we highlighted also the opportunity for the Commonwealth Environmental Water Holder to be able to trade water as well, and of the trading of water, then that creates revenue for them to be able to invest in long-term sustainability projects, of which they highlighted a number whilst we were there, and I'm pretty sure I have a copy of that presentation. Further to that, Councillor Jennings and I met with Jana Stewart, who is obviously a former Swan Hill local and a Labor senator for Victoria, and has taken a keen interest in not just our municipality but our entire region. Councillor Jennings made the mistake of referring to her as Jana when her name is Jana. She was very quick with her rebuttal of thank you very much, Councillor Jennings. So she definitely does have a sense of humour, and it was a bit of a fun time catching up with her as well. So yeah, all in all, I maintain that it is a valuable assembly and conference for councillors to attend. As Councillor Jennings has highlighted, the relationships with other councillors from right across Australia open our eyes to a different perspective on many different things, but it's also encouraging to know that as councils, as I said, from right across Australia, particularly in that rural and regional setting, it's great to know that there's a lot of us, and that we can all band together to get our point across hopefully to the people that matter. So yeah, commend the conference to councillors in the future to attend, take the opportunity to attend. So yeah, as Councillor Jennings mentioned, we will attach a written version of our report to the minutes. Happy to take further questions on that at a future briefing. If there's any burning questions right now, we'll attempt to answer them. But if we can't, as I said, happy to take those up in the future when you've had an opportunity to read the entire report. Councillor Rogers is champing at the bit to ask me a question.
Yes, one quick question. Did the Prime Minister attend, and did you get a chance to get in his ear?
Councillor Jennings, you might like to respond to this, because you attended the dinner on the final night at the new hall at the Woomera.
I did attend the gala dinner at the Great Hall, Anzac Hall at the Australian War Memorial. $500 million was spent on it, and they had a PA system. They didn't have enough money left over of the $500 million to put a decent PA system in, so that we could actually hear the Prime Minister in the little corner that I was in. But I did get the opportunity. We were funneled through in like a drafting race in groups of 10, and we got to shake the Prime Minister's hand and wish him well, and get a photo taken. So I can sign one for you, Lindsay, and
I'd like that.
get it to you at the next council meeting.
Very proud of you, Councillor Jennings.
Yeah, thank you. So it was disappointing that, you know, as I said, $500 million. This was the second only event that they'd had there, and we couldn't actually hear what was being said on the main stage. But apart from that, it was a good opportunity to, and it was quite coincidental that I happened to be sitting beside the CEO of the Northern Grampian Shire, who was very happy to tell me that he'd pinched our planning director. It was coincidental. Out of 1,000 odd people, I happened to be sitting beside him. Anyway, it was all good.
Thank you. Righto, we'll move on to other councillor reports. I'll ask Councillor Jennings if you want to start with your regular council report, and then we'll move around the room.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. A little bit less for me this month in that I had a couple of weeks unwell, so I wasn't going anywhere, and I thank my fellow councillor Thornton for stepping in for me for the event that I was going to go to, the Business Women's Professional Women's AGM, and I assume that you chaired it, Councillor Thornton. Thank you. And also I was meant to go to Almond Blossom last Sunday at Robinvale, but had to decline that because I also had a pressing invitation to go and confront 30 angry lakeside residents at Lake Boga foreshore. So as I was telling the CEO today when we arrived, the Mayor and I were trying to find a strategic spot to stand, and the residents circled us like wagons, and I thought we're in a bit of strife here, but they were quite respectful, and they made their points well known, made sure that they had an hour of telling us, reinforcing the things that we've already been made aware of. So we are well versed in all things Lakeside Drive residents. Last Friday, we had Mr. Hovenden and myself and one of my work colleagues had an initial discussion with the Centre of Excellence for Modular Construction, being Melbourne Polytechnic. And this was something that Mr. Hovenden raised with us in my workplace about that aligns with Council's housing initiatives and the possibility of us getting involved in modular housing as another form of construction. This was something that we looked at when we did the drive around town a couple of months ago at that particular workshop thing. Yes, it seems we've had the initial meeting is quite positive, and federal and state money for Melbourne Polytechnic to become the centre of excellence with training to do this new mode of construction, and then they will be collaborating further out into the regions, and we've wanted to get on the front foot with that, and so we've had those discussions. The next step is that they're sending someone up to have a look, meet with council, meet with TAFE, have a look at the environment here and have a look firsthand at some of the initiatives, and I would again imagine that we would include within that the Robinvale projects that we've done. So yeah, it was a good positive start, and I thank Mr. Hovenden for his presentation on Council's behalf at that meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Jennings. Councillor Rogers.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I also had a bit of a quiet month with a couple of weeks with the flu. Hit me really bad. Yeah, I did spend quite a considerable amount of time receiving phone calls regarding Werrell Street, and there is a major concern within the farming sector that they're going to be significantly restricted through there. So I think we've answered a few questions and settled the dust a little bit and calmed the air. And when the draft come back, it'll be great that we can properly consult them and ensure that we get a good balance. I feel that it's a great thing to promote the town and the streets, and certainly Werrell Street is certainly a residential street, but it's been a residential street for the last 36 years that I've been here. It is going to grow like all our town areas, but I feel that extensive alterations to it urgently before we really get our truck bypass up and running, some significant intersections to help fast-track trucks around our town, even maybe train lines, who knows. But yeah, I just want to make sure that it's in a planned structure stage that helps not restrict our business and our farmers, which are critical, and that's what we're here for, we support our town. Also, I attended a meeting. I was asked to attend a meeting in Echuca by the riverboat captains and owners in that area up there, which I attended last week, and was very, I took a lot of knowledge in and listened, and I've received some information that I think can help our municipality and our riverfront planning into the future. I've run that around to the centre, the councillor, and to Dennis. There's significant plans there, and there is a view that the council, the Campaspe Shire has been given ownership or right of way to control or manage the riverfront from on the Echuca side, the Victorian side, so it's New South Wales water, basically from bridge to bridge, which is a great thing. There's less people involved and probably more able to get things done quicker. And they've got some good ideas in planning up there. It's causing some concern up there, as it would. But yeah, I've received a lot of knowledge, and I hope to keep being able to take that on board and bring it back to our municipality, and certainly not have things done straight away, but help planning in the future to make our river frontages along all our towns along the river much better, and hopefully let more control of it for ourselves there. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Councillor Rogers. Councillor Englefield.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Must be the quiet months season. Quiet months from a formal sense, other than the Almond Blossom Festival on Sunday, which was the second half of a pretty busy day for Sunraysia, because they had the Vanilla Slice Festival in Mermean on Saturday. And it's fair to say that both events were very well attended, and the Almond Blossom Festival was another big success. And it was actually quite good, Ben, doing the councillor session there, because it was just a friendly chit-chat with everyone that wandered along. Nobody came along and was looking to, bang council over the head or whatever. Everyone was in a really good mood and was just up for a lovely little chat, and that was fantastic. But it has been, I have been fairly, inundated is not quite the word, but I have been receiving a number of phone calls regarding the dog park, and I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you, Councillor Englefield. Councillor McPhee.
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. Look, you'll see there's a list of events I've been to. The one I'd like to highlight is going to the Riding for the Disabled AGM and chairing their meeting. They do a great job, like a lot of volunteer organisations right throughout our municipality. And like them, they are struggling for volunteers. I just encourage people, consider volunteering or doing something to help our municipality. Without volunteers, we would not be able to survive. So certainly give it some thought. Doesn't take you a lot. I'm still volunteering with my Meals on Wheels once a month, helping out there. But by all means, it's there's an opportunity for everyone to get involved somewhere and do a little bit. So thanks, Mr Mayor. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Councillor McPhee. Councillor Broad.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Fairly quiet month. 2 Swan Link events. One was the committee catch-up, where they had all their, the board, the traders, the marketing committee meet together for the first time, which is incredible. It's great to see how much work goes into what they do, and I'm always blown away every board meeting at how much work is happening behind the scenes, things that we wouldn't understand or know, that Swan Link are facilitating and doing. So, yeah, fairly quiet month, but very impressed with Swan Link and the amount of work that's coming from there.
Thank you, Councillor Broad. Councillor Thornton.
Thank you. I've got a list of things that I've done this month, and I've enjoyed my work as a councillor very much. A few firsts in that I did enjoy the Mallee Almond Blossom Festival for the first time, and it was just a beautiful day and very well attended. It was great to see Robinvale out and about. It's certainly the season for annual general meetings, and whilst not necessarily my council role, a lot of the community things that you do feel like you're getting out and about and being seen as a councillor too. I was happy to attend the annual general meeting of Swan Hill Sustainability Group, which was actually held out at the Vinifera Forest on Sunday. I will highlight the ongoing work with the future services strategy of the pumped districts. Again, not in my councillor role, but very much I'm looking at it through the lens of council as well as a customer in the Golden Murray water area. Finally, it was my pleasure to attend Business and Professional Women's meeting for the first time and chair their handover meeting. It was wonderful to see and hear from the new CEO of the Swan Hill District Health and also Paula Stars, our Citizen of the Year, where they talked about the future of Swan Hill District Health and, of course, the MRI. So it was just an incredible presentation. Great to see a positive future for Swan Hill District Health. And also just to have a bit of a better understanding of what Business and Professional Women's Swan Hill does, certainly highlighting gender equality and providing information and action on women's issues. They did make a presentation regarding the gender pay gap in Australia, which it is currently at 21.8%, the gender pay gap, or $26,000 annually. And actually, women work 50 extra days each year to earn the same pay as men. Now, I highlight those because that's what some of the data that one of the members read out on the night, and it was wonderful to see both women and men enjoying the annual changeover dinner of the Business and Professional Women's of Swan Hill. Wonderful to be out in my community this month. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thornton. And I'll just add a few things. I'll pick up on Councillor McPhee's theme of volunteering, and I will thank all councillors for assisting. There was a few dates in the last month that I think the planets aligned because there was multiple events on one date, and so thank you for other councillors for stepping in. But picking one of the big events for me for the month, picking up on the volunteering theme, was celebrating the 140th anniversary of the Swan Hill Fire Brigade, which obviously was originally there was Swan Hill Urban Fire Brigade, Swan Hill Rural Fire Brigade, now the Swan Hill Fire Brigade, but in total 140 years of serving this community in largely a volunteer capacity. And there are multiple generations of families that have been involved with that organisation. In particular, I think of the Gilberts, where there's been at least 3 generations and moving into 4 generations of Gilberts that have been involved in the Swan Hill Fire Brigade. And also a big congratulations to Harold Jocks, who was presented with his 40-year medal for the Swan Hill Fire Brigade. So, yeah, that was a great event. Beyond that, various advocacy events, the Homelessness Week exhibition as well at the Swan Hill Library was fantastic, casting the lens on homelessness in our region, quite confronting as well. But yeah, the attended last week a leaders' reception for Regional Cities Victoria at Parliament House. Obviously an opportunity, as I said earlier, to get our advocacy in the hands of Minister Settle. On my way through to Morwell for the Victorian Top Tourism Town Awards, which unfortunately we didn't come home with chocolates, but still great to have our municipality highlighted on the state stage. I'll leave it at that. Everything else is listed there, but again, thank you to all councillors for your participation in the community, because that's what we're elected to do, is to represent our community. So thank you for getting out and about in the last month. That concludes the normal agenda or the public agenda, should I say, for this month's council meeting. We'll go into camera in a moment, but I just want to thank members of the public for attending today, whether that's in the gallery or on the live stream. When we come out of camera, the only order of business will be to close the meeting. So essentially, this is the end of the public section of the meeting. But again, thank you for your attendance at today's meeting. Councillors, could I have a motion to move into camera, please? Move Councillor Inglefield, seconded Councillor Broad. All those in favour? Motion is carried. Thank you. That's the conclusion of all of Council's business for the August scheduled meeting. Again, thank you for your attendance. I officially close the meeting at 5:20.